Hello.
Good evening, Facebook friends.
Happy June. Happy iced tea month.
Here we are again.
We are here again.
It's been a long time, it feels like.
Yeah, when did we do the last one? May 1st?
No, the end of
May
April.
1st. So it's been several weeks.
Yeah.
So welcome to Tea for All Reasons tea demo on iced teas and the holdover cinnamon twist and cheese twist from pastry making, which was last month's.
Yeah, that we promised you that we would do. So we're fulfilling our promises.
We are. So we're excited to show you iced tea. This will be a short one tonight because iced tea. It's pretty basic, but we do have some tips and we do have some teas to show you, and so we will do that. Before we get started, we have the normal announcements. So you can find all of our teas, tea accessories, all of that at teaforallreasons.com. That is where my online shop is. And then Mom sells a bunch of vintage stuff at Vintage for All Reasons at Etsy.com.
And also on Facebook.
And she also sells on Facebook through the Tea for All Reasons page or Vintage for All Reasons page.
Yeah, if you tune into the Tea for All Reasons Facebook page, you get first look. That's the key.
Yeah. And by the way, we didn't introduce ourselves because we assume that you know who we are. But I am Jen Clunan, and I am the owner of Tea for All Reasons.
And I'm Marsha Richards. I'm Jen's mom, and I'm the former owner of Tea for All Reasons.
Right. And the current owner of...
Vintage.
For All Reasons.
Yeah.
And so that's who we are, and we are so glad that you joined us. And with that, we'll continue on with our basic announcements. So we have the Facebook page, which is, we assume, where you are if you're watching us live. Mom manages the Facebook page, and then we also have a Facebook group, and I manage the group page. And it is a private group on Facebook, but everybody's welcome. I just set it up as private to keep out spammers, and that's the main reason. So when you find the group on Facebook, just look for Tea for All Reasons group. You do have to answer a couple questions, but I've only rejected a couple people because they had weird profiles. But 99.9% of you that come in are welcome to the group. What you will find in the group is insider information. I share a lot of insider information in the group that doesn't necessarily get shared on the page or even on the website. Coupon codes, information about sales.
And when you introduce new teas.
Yeah, I talk about new blends that I'm working on a lot.
Every week. There's something new. So if you want to know what's happening with Tea for All Reasons in terms of the business, that's where to go, is to be in the group, and because that's where I post most of the time. I do try to post some stuff on the page, but for the most part, I live in the group. So that you want to be in the group. And I live on the page.
And Mom lives on the page. And let's see. I do have a newsletter. Yes. What? Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah.
I do have a newsletter, and if you're not already signed up for the newsletter, you can do that on the website. If you look at the top of the page, in the green banner at the top, there's a little icon, and it says newsletter. Click on that. A little pop-up window comes up. Put in your email, and that will sign you up for the newsletter. I typically send that out quarterly. I should have sent one out for June already. I'm working on it, and I'm hoping to get that out in the next week. It won't go out this week because I'm traveling, but it'll go out by the end of the month.
It'll still be June,
and it's going to go out in June. Yeah, so I do try to send that out quarterly. I don't want to spam you, but I do want to keep you up to date on new things that are coming, sales, coupons, anything like that in the newsletter. Changes that happen on the page, or in the business, the one that I sent back in January, talked about shipping changes that I made and price changes and stuff like that. So I try to keep y'all up to date through that newsletter, as well as the group. A lot of the stuff that's in the newsletter is in the group, but sometimes different audiences. Next up, well, I'll talk about this one first. So I'm going to spend a little time asking for feedback. I get great feedback on our teas, on recently on our packaging, and I love that you love our teas and that you think I'm providing good customer service and that the unboxing process is great. What would really make it that much better for me is if you do that on the website. So when you place an order, there is an opportunity for you to come back to that order and leave a review for the items that you purchase. And now, unfortunately, if you're purchasing an item like a teapot or a teacup, once that's sold, because they're one-offs, those get removed from the shop. So leaving a review for those doesn't really help. And I don't know if you'll even be able to, because I do remove anything that's sold out of the shop. I'm really looking for feedback on the teas, because when a new person finds my website, they want to know that Tea for All Reasons is providing a good tea, that the teas taste good, that they're good quality, that the packaging is good, that the customer service is good. And the only way that they can know that is by reading the reviews on the website or even on Google. I have one friend who left a great Google review for Tea for All Reasons, and I'm so grateful because that helps my presence in Google searches. But it really helps when they're looking at teas to see those stars and to click into the tea, and they can see that this is why you love the tea, that the flavor is great and it makes a good product. And so all that said, in order to leave a review, you have to have a login account on the website. And I know a lot of you check out as guests. I do recommend that you go ahead and sign up for an account. I don't hold any of your private information I don't sell the mailing list. I'm not that kind of a business owner. Your private information is private, and I only use it for interacting with you, for shipping your products, whatever it is that where I need that information. Your credit card information, I don't even see that. That is held by, that goes through the credit card processor or PayPal, whichever way you pay. So your data is secure on my website, but you do have to have a login and an account on the website in order to leave a review. And then the way to review is you go back to your order and you click on the item that you ordered, and it should give you an opportunity to leave feedback from there. Very similar to Amazon. If you've left a review on Amazon, you've got to go back to that order, click on the item, and then you can leave feedback. I haven't gone through the process on my own website because I'm not a buyer on my website, so I'm not sure exactly how it works, but that's what I've been told. And so if you would consider leaving feedback for any of the tea products that you've purchased that you like, or even if you don't like it, if you think that it's a weak flavor or whatever, I welcome all feedback, whether it's positive or negative. But that will help future buyers to know how to purchase on the website.
Right. Yeah, and just from my point of view, these days, it's important to build that trust between the customer and the owner. And so this is a way of building that trust with Jen and with the customers. New customers will see that there's a relationship there, a retail relationship, and that trust has been built. And so that's really important.
Yeah. Okay, so, and I'll probably nag about this in the future again too. Not nag, but gently beg you to please leave me feedback, whether positive and negative. I welcome criticism as well. If there was any tea that you didn't like, let me know. I don't want to sell a bad tea. So, if there's a consensus that, a particular blend isn't great, then I'll look at redoing it or eliminating it. So I need to know that too. And then the next thing I want to talk about is the quarterly subscription box. So I posted in the group as a reminder, hey, I've got quarterly subscription boxes, and they go out every quarter. January, April, the next one goes out in July, and then the next one after that goes out in October. And then all over again. And what you get with that in the initial box is 5 tins, and I forgot to grab a tin. 5 tins.
2-ounce tins.
No. It's a 1.5.
Oh, it's a 1.5 ounce.
1.5 ounce tins. You get 5 1.5 ounce samples of teas. And in the initial box, you also get a tea sack. I'm gonna promote this is tea sack 3, but you get a tea sack 1 in the subscription box and a perfect cup of tea spoon in the first box. And then in the subsequent boxes, your tea samples are in these bags. This holds 1.5 ounces of tea, and you get 5 each quarter. And it's a pretty good amount of tea. 1.5 ounces of tea is quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And you get blends that are seasonal, of course, but I try to add 1 and possibly 2 that are not carried in the shop on a regular basis. Maybe something that I'm testing out. And so it's something that not everybody gets.
So you can term it exclusive.
Yes, some of them are exclusive to the subscription box.
Yeah.
And so the next box goes out. It bills on the 5th of the month that it ships out, and so July 5th is when the next box will bill, and then we'll ship out within that week to the folks who have those subscriptions. It's a great gift idea.
Yeah.
I'll probably heavily promote it as we get into the fall as a Christmas gift idea for a tea lover. Anyway, so the quarterly subscription box.
And the neat thing is you can subscribe at any time during the year. You don't have to wait till the first of the year to subscribe. Therefore, it's also a great birthday gift.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah, anytime. You can subscribe anytime.
Any special occasion.
And if you go to the listing on the website, it explains in more detail. It shows the price, of course, and it shows in more detail. Like if you sign up, like if you were to sign up now, today is June 12th. If you sign up today, you will get the spring quarterly box as your first box. After the 15th, so on June 16th, at that point you're signing up for the July box. And so you might sign up on the 17th of June. You're not going to get the spring box. You'll get the July box that goes out at the beginning of July. That will be your first box.
Okay.
I had to set up.
That's good to know.
And then if you are thinking about it and you decide to sign up, say at the end of July, you'll get the July box as your first box, and then your next billing date will be October 5th for the October box. It puts you on the cycle for the quarter.
Okay.
Yeah. Our next live, and we'll remind you of this at the end as well, but mark your calendars. Our next live is July 17th. We're going to talk about children's teas, how to select a tea for children, how to do a children's tea party.
We may add some things like proper manners, etiquette. It's important for little ones to begin to have a sense of what's important in having tea, but also it benefits in other ways. And one is that moms will feel as if they're more comfortable in taking their children to a tea room if they've had some little basics on manners and etiquette of tea.
Right. Yeah, a children's tea is a great way to teach proper decorum.
Yeah, so I think we'll set something up in the dining room for that.
Yep. Okay, I always do a giveaway, and so the giveaway tonight is a summer sampler. And this sampler is 6 half-ounce bags of tea, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half-ounce bags of tea. And what's in the summer sampler is Granny's Green Apple, which is a green tea, Hibiscus Sangria, which is an herbal, Island Lime is a black tea. Back Porch Blend is a black tea. Peaches and Cream, which is a black tea.
One of my favorites.
It's one of my favorites too. And Summer Berries, which is a rooibos tea. And that's new in the shop.
It's delish.
And I'm going to demo a couple of these tonight for you to see. But this is the giveaway, and the key phrase to put in the comments is summer faves, because I'm so original. I was trying to think of summer, like summertime, summer faves in the comments. And as always, in the morning, I'll get all the names of the folks who put the key phrase in for the giveaway, and we'll do the drawing. I'm going to try to do the drawing earlier in the day than I have, because the next note that I have is I'm on travel for work, and I leave Monday morning. And so I want to be able to get the giveaway item out in the mail that day, and any orders that come in tonight and tomorrow. If you place an order tonight or tomorrow before 6 p.m., I will get your order shipped out on Monday before I fly out of town. If you order after 6 p.m. on Sunday, I will process your order beginning on Thursday after I'm back at home. So Monday through Wednesday, I'm not at home. I'm not processing any orders. I just can't because I'm out of town. So if you plan on placing an order this weekend, the sooner you do it, the better, because then that guarantees that I'll get that shipped out on Monday. And I think that's it. Molly is not with us tonight. My kids do summer swim team, and well, let's ask her first. Do you want to be on camera? Are you okay with being on camera?
Just
okay.
To say hi.
Just to wave and say hi. So so Molly is not with us tonight because she is super tired after swimming all morning, and so we have a very special guest who's monitoring the comments on Facebook tonight, and that is my niece, Olivia.
Hello.
Who is visiting for the weekend after graduating from high school last week. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay! And so Olivia is monitoring all the comments, and then I think we're ready to go. Oh, we need 1 second. Mom says to pause for a second. So we're going to actually start a stretching. So we're actually going to start with the pastry demo, and that's what she's prepping. So she's going to show the cinnamon twists first, and I know y'all are way more excited about the cinnamon twist than you are about the tea tonight. And so she's going to do that demo while I set up for talking about the teas and iced tea and all that. And so without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to my mom for the pastry demo. Yay! Okay.
Yay! Oh, yeah. Now, the last time we were together, we were doing a whole bunch of different pastry items. We did pie, we did a blind crust, and we wanted to be able to do something with the leftover pie crust, but there just wasn't time. Plus, as you remember, I ran out of sugar. So I couldn't make the cinnamon sugar for you, and it would have run way over time. So we decided that we would hold it over till tonight to do it, and I didn't want to pull out leftover crust that had been in the freezer for 6 weeks. I just don't leave it in there that long. So I went ahead and made some fresh, and if you are interested in this recipe, it is in my cookbook. And we didn't bring a cookbook, did we?
I didn't bring a cookbook.
But it is in the Tea for All Reasons cookbook, which is available on Jen's website.
Always.
Or on vintageforallreasons.com. And so I made the full recipe that makes 2 discs, and we're going to do one with cinnamon sugar and butter, and this is just the basic cinnamon twist that I do normally with just leftover crust. But these are going to kind of look prettier because we've got the really nice new crust. So I'm just going to flour the counter, and remember what we learned last time about having a cold surface is really nice, so you can just do it right on your counter. If you have granite or another type of stone counter, it's going to be cold enough for that. Okay, and then we're just going to start to roll it out. And it doesn't have to be perfect like you would want for a pie crust, because we're just making strips. I've already set the oven for 400 degrees, and again, probably it would be the same temperature that you would bake your pie if you have already done your pie. Let's say you've already done your pie and it's in the oven, and now you're making the cinnamon twist from the leftover pie crust. And these are going to bake for about 12 minutes. Again, kind of depending on your oven. If you have a hot oven, it may take less time. And to be honest with you, I set the timer usually for 12 minutes, but I always check them to see and kind of go by looks more than time to see how they look. And you want them just kind of a golden brown. So, for those of you who've never made homemade cinnamon sugar before, what I did was I combined, and it's about a cup of sugar, granulated sugar, and 2 level tablespoons of cinnamon, and just mixed together, and that's it. If you like more cinnamon, you can add more. If you like less, just make it the way you like it. And then we always have some in the pantry because everybody loves cinnamon toast, so we always have it ready, except last time we did not have it ready. I know, but it worked out. Okay, and you're going to continue. You really don't want these very thick, because what we're going to do is once we cut them with the pizza cutter, we're going to fold them over. So that's going to make them
Twists.
That's going to make them twice as thick. And everybody's going to love, thank you, love. Everybody's going to love this because usually when you're using leftover pie crust, it doesn't really make that many. How many would you get? Maybe 6 at the most, but we're going to get a good...
Yeah, Molly wanted me to bring some home.
Oh, yeah. And I think these might be more popular than the cheddar ones.
Well, of course, it's sugar.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do those a little bit more. Now you can cut with a knife, but the pizza wheel is really easy. Oh, and something else. Once these are all ready and rolled out, and I think that's good. Okay. I'm going to spread it with butter, and I don't recommend using any light butter or anything else because it has a water content to it, and it's just not going to bake as well. You really want to use real butter. I use salted butter, not unsalted butter, and you do want it soft because you want it spreadable. So, but you don't want it melted because then it's going to get too messy and too moist. So you like the butter to be softened and spreadable. And honestly, I don't know how much I use.
Well, you've used a half a stick so far.
Yeah, it's usually just enough to spread.
However much you need.
However much you need to spread. I know. And you want to try to get to the edges because you want that cinnamon sugar to stick. Do we have any questions, Olivia?
Do we have any questions? No?
None?
Questions.
Okay. So welcome everybody who's come back to join us. We've missed you. We've been busy. We've all been traveling.
Yep.
Various places and are back home for a while. I know you're traveling on Monday, but
Right, yep.
but that's just for a few days, right?
Yep, for work.
Yeah.
And then I'm home.
Of course, hubby is going to be taking Olivia back part way. Her mom's going to meet them part way on Monday. And then you're home for a while, right?
Me?
Did hubby
Yeah.
say hi?
Hello. Hello.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, so it's just about half a stick, right?
Yep.
That's going to be enough.
Yeah, as always, Dad is on the camera.
What?
No, he was waving.
Oh,
at
he's
the camera.
waving?
He's
Oh, I was
waving
going
at
to
the
say,
camera.
what did you...
You're missing down here.
Okay, I'll get there.
And my son is here, but he's playing video games downstairs. Which is why he comes.
Did you say why Molly wasn't
Yes,
here?
because of swim.
Because of swim.
Yep.
She was tuckered out.
Tuckered out. They swim a lot this morning.
Yeah, they swim every Saturday morning. Well, every day
Well,
during the week,
Yeah.
but swim competition.
Yeah, the swim meet on the morning.
Yeah. Okay, does that look good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Then we just sprinkle on the cinnamon sugar.
Did you give the recipe for the cinnamon sugar?
I did.
Want to repeat it?
Yeah. 1 cup of sugar and 2 level tablespoons of cinnamon, or more if you want.
If you like it more cinnamony.
Yeah. I think this is about as cinnamony as I
Yeah,
like.
it's pretty good.
Otherwise, if you get it too cinnamony, it starts to get a little bitter.
Well, and almost medicinal.
Yeah.
And she's pretty generous with the cinnamon, as you can see. It's not a thin layer. I mean, it's a thin layer, but I mean, she's putting quite a bit on there.
And I'm not going to pat it in or spread it in or anything.
No,
I'm just
there's no
leaving
need.
it. No need to do that. And try to get it to the edges. But, you know, this is meant to be just like a very slapdash. This is not meant to be perfect.
Yeah, it's just a little snack.
Just a little snack.
I remember as a girl, my mom would make pies, and then she would make cinnamon twists after. She put the beautiful pies together, and my sister and I would be and Dad would be so excited at such a simple little snack.
Yeah. And my mother made them for us.
Yeah.
That's where I learned, was from my mom. So.
But it was just
All right.
a nice little treat.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of straighten up this edge, and I'm going to go ahead and do that one, but that's not the prettiest one. And I do it about 1 inch across, 1 inch wide. These are going to be big ones.
Yeah, they're big.
You could half these, I suppose, but I'm not going to half them.
No.
And if you don't have a pizza wheel, you can use a knife, but boy, how easy this is. I don't think we had a pizza wheel growing up. All right, maybe one more pretty one. And then that one, we'll do something with. Okay, now we're just going to fold them over like that, pat them down a little bit.
Yeah, want me to hold it?
And if you want to tuck that in a little bit, you can. And then just twist like that. And that's it. How easy is that?
Pretty easy. And you are going to lose some of the cinnamon sugar.
Yeah. And you don't have to worry about, spacing out too much because they're not going to spread.
Yeah, they don't spread.
They don't spread at all. And, I have seen somewhere where they add more sugar, more cinnamon sugar on top, and you really don't need to. You don't need to add more butter or more sugar on there. And these are actually, we came up with this idea earlier that these would be great for a children's tea.
Yep.
We may revisit this next month when we do the children's tea, because I don't know any child who doesn't like these. And you could make them smaller.
Or bigger.
This is about as big. I mean,
This
that's
is-
a pretty big
This
circle of dough.
This is about as big, because I never do it.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
I'll take that back. I did with Molly one time when she was here visiting, and I didn't have any left over, and we did make them this full.
big.
Yeah. We have pictures of her over at the counter, and she made perfect cinnamon twists. And she must have been maybe 6 when she was doing it.
She likes baking with Mommy.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a long time. Olivia was here with Molly one time, and we made muffins. I don't know if, Olivia, have you made cinnamon twists here?
No.
Do you make them at home with your mom? Does she make them? Your mom doesn't bake a lot, but she makes pie.
She
Yeah.
bakes.
She said she was going to make some tapioca pudding.
Ah, yeah, that's a favorite of hers. All right, have we got room?
Yeah, I want that.
And I must say, every time I make a pie, Pop or a hubby that's his first question. Time to make cinnamon twists? And I don't always have time. Sometimes I'm in a rush and the dough goes in the fridge, but he's in luck tonight.
Except he has
You
to
have a
share.
question?
He has to share.
We have a question?
Why is salted butter better than unsalted for this recipe?
Well, you can use unsalted, but I just think that it adds to the flavor. And the pie crust itself is made with unsalted, so I think it balances it out a little bit. Just
Yeah.
that little bit of salt.
The little bit of salt will actually enhance the flavor in the crust,
Yeah,
since there's not salted butter in the crust.
yeah. Now there is salt added to the crust, but I just anytime, I had someone ask me one time, can I leave the salt out of cookies? No, you can't. It's that balance of the sweet and the salt. You really need that in your baked goods.
Well, and it's the chemistry too.
Yeah,
You need the salt for the leavening. It helps
Right.
with that as well. It's not just flavor.
right.
Can you explain what you're doing?
It's the
I'm
chemistry.
just
She's trying to make cinnamon twists out of weird shaped dough.
yeah, and not wasting one little bit.
Put that right there.
Yeah. Because
So it might not be twisty, but
it
it's
may
still
not be
gonna
twisty,
good.
yeah, but we don't waste anything. We don't throw anything away. Okay, there you go.
All right.
All right,
So-
in the oven for 12 minutes.
All right. But in the meantime, so now, while those are baking, I'm going to start the tea demo portion of our evening, or at least the first part of it. And so I'm going to give a basic general overview of iced tea. So we've already explained how to brew a good cup of tea so that it's not bitter, so that it's the right strength, depending on the type of tea that you are that you're making, whether it's black tea, green tea, white tea, rooibos, and herbal. And rooibos is an herbal, but when I talk about herbal, I'm talking about an herbal that does not have rooibos in it. It's a fruit blend or fruit and flowers. That's how I make the distinction between rooibos and herbal. So those principles still apply even when you're making iced tea. You're still going to brew it the same way. At least how Mom and I approach iced tea, you're still brewing the tea the same way. You're still bringing your water up to a boil. You're still going to steep it for the same amount of time. The question is, are you going to make a concentrate of tea that is then going to get diluted with water later and your ice, or are you making a cup of tea that you're going to put on ice immediately? And so it doesn't need to be concentrated. So, and we'll get to the concentrate idea in the second part of the tea demo where I do larger batches. So I'm going to explain first, like I said, the same principles apply when you're making iced tea as when you're brewing a hot cup of tea. I know that some folks want to know more about cold brew and sun tea. So I did some experimenting myself with cold brew in the last couple of weeks. And I know that some people really like it. I don't recommend it. And I'm going to say the same thing about sun tea. I don't recommend it. And the main reason is it's the same principle as why we use boiling hot water is when we're making a hot cup of tea, is the leaves need to be shocked. When that hot water hits the tea, that draws out the flavor immediately because it causes the tea leaves to expand, and that brings out the most flavor from your tea. And that applies to the herbals and all of that. So when I made cold brew tea, I actually used a tea pot that's designed for cold brew. So you can see it's got the stainless filter that goes down the middle of the glass pitcher. You put your tea in here with the cold water, and then you put it in the fridge. So the instructions were to put it in the fridge overnight, which I did, and I ended up with a really weak tea. So it's steeped for hours in the cold, and it ended up as a really weak tea. It was delicious. The flavor of the tea blend that I used was good, but it was very weak. I think that would have done a lot better if I had brewed it traditionally with the hot water, so that the leaves were shocked to open up and draw out the flavor as it steeped. So I don't recommend it. Same thing with sun tea. Sun tea is not. It's the same idea. You're putting it in cool water, tepid water, cold water, and letting it sit out for hours. It's going to be a weak tea, and I just don't think you're going to get the best product by brewing your tea that way. And also, if you want it to be the proper strength, you're going to have to use twice as much tea. And so I don't think it's economical, because where you would use, well, I'll show you when I brew the pots, but if you're going to do a big a pitcher of tea, you're going to use the perfect pot spoon, a couple of these with your boiling water. If you're going to do cold brew, you're going to need twice as much. And so I just don't recommend doing cold brew or sun tea. I recommend the traditional way. But, to each his own. If you like a weaker tea, then try cold brew and see if that works for you. The other question that I've gotten a lot is about cloudy tea. Why is my tea cloudy? And there are a number of reasons why that could be. And I did some research on what causes cloudy iced tea. And the main thing that I kept seeing repeated over and over is that it's mostly a problem with black tea. Your herbals, rooibos, are typically not going to cloud. It's the black tea. And the reason why black tea clouds is because of the combination of the caffeine and the tannins that are in those tea leaves that cause the cloudiness. And one of my vendors sent out information saying that cloudy iced tea can be caused because of the quality of the tea, that a higher quality of tea actually can cause cloudiness. It's not that your tea is of a poorer quality and that's what's causing cloudiness in your tea. A higher quality tea is going to have more of those tannins, and so in that research it made more sense why a higher quality tea would produce a cloudy iced tea, because of the tannins in those teas. And the temperature of the water has to do with it as well. So a cold brew tea could produce, no, I have it backwards. The hotter the water, the more likely that you could end up with a cloudy tea. So the main way to try to reduce the cloudiness in your tea is, some of the mistakes that I've made, even making iced tea, is I brew my tea and then I immediately put it in the fridge. And then I end up with cloudy tea. If you're taking that really hot brewed tea and sticking it in a very cold fridge, your fridge is supposed to be 40 degrees, that's going to cause the cloudiness to come into your tea. So let it cool on the counter until it's about room temperature, and then you can put it in the fridge. At that point you can add more water if you've made a concentrate, or you can add your ice. But definitely don't put your hot tea into the cold fridge, is on the black tea. Don't just, and I would say even green tea, be careful with that too. You could end up with cloudy tea. Let me see.
And oolongs.
And oolong as well. Because remember, oolong is not fermented like a black tea. I think of oolong similar to, it's kind of in between black and green.
Yeah, it's semi-fermented.
It's semi-fermented, but yeah, you brew it more like a green tea, but it's stronger than a green tea is. The other thing that causes cloudiness is storing it for a long time in the fridge. That can cause your tea to get cloudy. And so we recommend making your tea the same day that you're going to serve it. So if you know that you're going to be serving tea for guests who are coming for a barbecue or whatever, or you want to have iced tea for dinner, brew your tea in the morning, let it sit on the counter until it's room temperature, and then put it in the fridge and it'll be ready for later that day. Don't brew it the night before and put it in the fridge for overnight. That can also cause cloudiness, and it also affects the flavor of the tea. The longer it sits in the fridge, that degrades the flavor of your tea. If you've done Lipton or store-bought tea bags or whatever, that way they've processed that tea to accommodate that. But a loose leaf tea from someone like me, Tea for All Reasons, those teas are not processed that way in the same manner to hold up to those temperature differences. And so
well, and Lipton's will cloud too.
Yeah, Lipton's will cloud too,
Yeah.
but it just let it cool on the counter. That's the key
safest,
thing.
yeah.
The safest thing is to make it well ahead of time so it has plenty of time to cool on the counter, and then you can put it in the fridge. And then one tip: if your tea has gone cloudy, you can add hot water to it to try to fix it. I've never done that, but I'm told that can occasionally work. Excuse me. And so you can try adding hot water to clear it up again, and that might solve the problem. And pardon me, my throat is getting dry.
Want some water? You got some water? Okay.
I have iced tea.
Of course you do.
So knowing that we were doing a thing on iced tea tonight, I brewed, this is summer berries, and I'm going to show this, but I brewed summer berries this morning and I let it sit on the counter to cool, and then when we were heading here, I put it in my little tea, my iced tea cup here, and I put ice in it right before we started, and it's already melted, but this is nice iced tea. You can see it's clear. My hand is blocking it. You can see it's clear. There's no cloudiness to it, and it's delicious. And I'm going to show how to make that. And then I know a lot of folks like their tea sweet. I don't recommend that you add sugar to your tea mixture as it's steeping. I have known, personally, I've known people that do that. Don't do that. Steep your tea, unsweetened, and then you can add your sweetener to it later. And we're going to talk about, Mom will explain simple syrup. She made some earlier today. Yes. We'll get to that question in a second. And I'm going to show adding that to both an individual glass and to the pitchers. But you can add sugar, honey, artificial sweetener. I don't do sugar, so I do artificial sweetener. You can add lemonade. You can do your Arnold Palmer, which is half tea, half lemonade. Other fruits, if you like other fruit, I'm not a huge one for lemon in my tea, but orange or limes or berries or whatever. You always want to add that after it's both steeped and cooled.
Yeah,
typically.
so like you would put your if you want strawberries to go with your tea, you could put the strawberries at the bottom of the glass,
Yeah.
then your ice, and then your tea.
Yeah. And I think that covers the basic iced tea 101. Someone asked, do you think a Keurig would work? So I'm not a fan of Keurig, either for coffee or for tea. I don't have one, and I've had coffee from a Keurig, but I'm old school, and I think you get a better product when you do it. So here's my issue with the Keurig, especially for tea. We had, and I say this from personal experience. So my husband and I had a single serve coffee pot. It wasn't a Keurig. Excuse me. It had a traditional coffee pot on one side, and on the other side it had for single serve where you could just brew 1 cup of coffee. And he was using that side for his tea because he doesn't drink coffee. He drinks tea. So I would drink the coffee that came in the big pot, and he would brew his tea through that single. So the issue is the tea's not steeping long enough. Because the water's just running through the basket.
That's it.
And so it's not sitting in the water for a long enough time to completely steep the tea to give you the best product. And I'm not sure what kind of tea they've got in those Keurig pods, but my guess is it's tea dust, much like what you get in a Lipton tea bag or any of the tea bags from
the fannings.
Yeah, it's not the high quality full leaf that you're getting with. Am I pouring it out? I'm pouring it out from a loose leaf tea, which you can't see. Like this is, which one is this? This is iced peach black tea, and you can see it's chunky. It's got leaves. It's got fruit in there, that's not what you typically get from a tea bag. And I'm guessing that's not what you're getting in the Keurig tea pods if you're buying the prefabbed Keurig tea pods. Now, if you're filling your own Keurig pod with your own leaves, that's better. But again, it's not steeping in the water long enough to get a full brew like it would if you steep it in the traditional way, either in an infuser or by other methods. So, you can try in a Keurig, but I really don't think you get the best tea product in the Keurig. Because tea is not a drip product. Keurig works for coffee because coffee is a drip product. That's how coffee, the water just goes through the grounds and you get the brown water. That's not how tea works. So.
Well, Jen, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as the quality of the tea, the dripping of the tea. I really think that's the major issue.
Yeah, come on over because I don't know if you're in the
Not
camera.
only the quality of the tea, and I've got one here, so we're going to open it up
See what's inside.
and see what's inside.
Now that may actually be, it's not,
See, it's very fine.
it's tea dust.
It's tea dust, which is the fannings.
So this is green tea, and that is what is in the Keurig pod. That's Twinings. Green tea in the Keurig pod. This is Tea for All Reasons green tea. See the difference? Can you see both of them? See the difference? That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
You're going to get a much better quality tea from the whole leaf than from the dust.
And then the other thing is the fact that, as she said, that water is just passing through. It's not brewing.
Yeah.
It's just passing through.
Yeah.
Now, they may, and again, I've never brewed tea with the Keurig, but it may be that they're thinking this is like double the amount, and so it's going to make it strong enough, but
I don't think you're going to get,
No.
You're not going to get a top product with a Keurig. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
They specialize in coffee.
They specialize in coffee, and yeah. So, and so with that, I kind of lost track of where I was. So that was the T101 portion of our iced tea, because I think I covered everything here.
Are you going to brew any?
Yes, I am going to show demonstration. So this part of the demonstration, I'm going to show how to make an individual portion of tea. So like I did this morning, I brewed enough for this. And so I'm going to show you with a couple different teas, the different ways that you can do a really easy, quick iced tea for yourself. And so the first one I'm going to show is summer fruit. This is an herbal. It's strawberry and watermelon flavor, and it's delicious.
What else did we say was on in that?
It's
Orange. It has some
It does
orange
have. I think it does have some orange in it. It's
Yeah.
got rose hips.
Yeah.
I didn't print the labels because I'm lazy. Okay, I'll get to that. I will answer that question in just a second. So I'm going to brew enough to go in one of these glasses, which is about 6 ounces.
I would say so.
So and
Once
I'm-
the ice is in there.
So I'm just doing 1 spoon, which is not a lot, but that's enough for 5 or 6 ounces.
I would do 2.
Do 2?
Yeah.
All right.
And then,
Because I'm pouring it right in there.
Yeah, I know. And then I'll fill it up halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's going to put the hot water in it, and then we're going to let that steep. And then the other one I'm going to show 2 more. I'm going to show Granny's Green Apple. And so this is what I showed you a minute ago. This is one of my favorites. I make this every day, both hot and iced. It's a green tea, Granny's Green Apple, and I'm going to do 1.5.
Timer?
Yeah, 3 minutes. And you know what? I just had a thought, Jen.
You do that while I pour.
Yeah, I just had a thought. And we didn't think about this. We were trying to decide what kind of stemware or glasses to use. But I would not pour that hot into these glasses.
No, that's why I was saying these.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Even our other stem glasses, because they're tempered, I think would be safer.
would this work?
That should work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need 2 more of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so Granny's Green Apple is steeping, and I'm going to put,
I have 3 minutes.
I know, I only want 2.
That's all you got.
Okay. And then the third one I'm going to do is Butterfly Garden. This is a new one, and I'm doing this because it's an unusual color, although it might end up being the same color as the summer fruit. But this is a new Rooibos blend, and when you're done doing that, if you could bring the camera down. And it's got the butterfly blue pea flowers in it that makes the tea blue, but it also has raspberry and lemon, and the lemon reacts with the butterfly blue pea and makes it more of a violet, purpley color. And so I'm going to make some of that as well.
What timer do you need?
For this one, well, it's Rooibos, so it can go 3 to 5. Oh, you can already see that it's kind of, can you see that it's already turning a little blue? It's kind of hard to see, but we'll let that sit. And I'll put the timer on that one.
I'll put the timer on.
Oh, well, how do we have so many different timers?
You need
Because I'm good.
Okay. All right, so let me check. It's hard to see the
No,
color.
50 seconds more than that.
Okay, all right.
And I'll leave.
Okay.
Now, do you want any ice in those glasses? And what kind of ice? Here's
Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. So I was going to, I poured it right in there, but I'm still going to make this work. So last time I showed the Dower strainer cup that had the basket that sits, and they sold out, and I can't find that anymore
Really?
anywhere. But I found these, which is basically the same. It's a nice deep strainer cup or strainer that fits in your cup, and
Yeah.
it has this to sit on, but this also works as a lid, and I was going to demonstrate it, and I forgot what I was doing. But instead, we'll use it as a strainer into the glass for the butterfly blue pea. Okay, so I'll do the green tea first. So this is the Granny's green apple.
You want ice in there?
Sure. I mean, it's going to melt right away.
Yeah.
So this is the Adagio Tea Ingenuity Infuser. I use this every day to make my tea because it's super easy. You just dump the leaves in there, pour the water in, and then it's got a little doohickey that you put it right over the cup, and it strains right into the cup. And so that is this. Look how beautiful.
Lovely.
It's perfect. So there's the Granny's green apple, and that is green tea. You can see it's that beautiful, can you see it? That beautiful green color. And
Very nice.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
You want to try it? It's good. It might need a little sweetener. And then this is the summer fruit. Yes, perfect. And so this is a French press. And the French press, you just push down, and if we had more tea, it would go down. Well, I guess that's as far down as it goes. So that pushes the leaves down. It keeps it from pouring out because all the tea is down underneath this mesh plate. And then Mom made some summer fruit iced tea or tea, and she froze it into these cool tubes. And so we're actually going to pour the hot tea over those tubes, and we have a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful colored summer fruit herbal tea.
And the only reason why we used the tubes, well, actually, hubby found these. These are great to put in your water bottles. You
Yep.
can fill them with your fruit or your tea flavored iced tea cubes or tubes to put right in your water bottle. We couldn't find a traditional ice tray of all things, so that's why we came up with this.
Okay, and so then I've also been known to make tea like this. I just dump the leaves into a cup measure, and then I use a strainer to strain it into my mug. In this case, we're going to strain it into this glass. So this is a butterfly blue pea, and it's a weird color. It's blue,
It is.
and that strainer is going to strain it out. And I didn't make much,
That's all right. We're going to add ice.
but we are going to add ice to that.
Awesome.
And so you can see the strainer caught all of the tea, and then you can set the strainer on this little tray, and it keeps your counter from getting wet. So she's adding ice to that one so you can see it, and then I'll answer these questions.
Oh, you can really see how blue it is now.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting blue.
Yeah.
It's blue, and that's the butterfly blue pea flower that causes the tea to be that color.
Beautiful.
Yep. Yep. And then in the next demonstration, I'll show. Oh, I was wrong. I was supposed to do a black tea for that, but I'll switch
You
it
can go
out.
back, switch it
I'll
while
switch it
I
out.
do the cheese, because
Yeah.
I'm ready to show the cheese.
Yep. Before I do that, let me answer these questions. So someone asked, how long is the shelf life of tea with fruit? Well, the fruits are typically dried, and so they're much like a craisin or a raisin. The shelf life of those teas is the same as teas without the fruits. So from the time that I package it, I'm trying to remember what I say, about a year. It's not that they're dangerous after that point, it's that the flavor is not as strong. The quality of the flavor is not as good after a year. But
yeah, I would say show them one of your packaging, the gold
Yeah.
packs over there. If you are receiving one of these packs and it's unopened, it's probably good for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But once you open it, then only
then
a
it's
year.
Yeah, a year.
But
And
you're not
I-
going to leave it that
And
long.
I do heat seal them at the top. So there's Ziploc bags so that you can close them again. And I have started on the labeling, I mark the month and the year that I have packaged. So if it says, like this one says 321, I packaged this particular bag in March. And so from that date, about 2 years, as long as it's not opened, this tea is good. And so I did mean to show these earlier. So this is the 4-ounce bag, and it's a pretty good amount of tea that's in here, and I do package by weight. And then this is a 2-ounce bag, and also it's a good amount of tea that's in the 2-ounce bag, and I do heat seal them and the top, and I date them. And then there are brewing instructions on the back. And then I had one more question. Are you going to sell them? Was that in reference to these?
Yes, I believe so.
I do not sell the Ingenuity by Adagio. That's Adagio's product, but I do recommend it because it's super easy to use, and I don't mind promoting it for them, to be honest, because it is such a great product. I think
changed their design a little bit.
they did change the design, and we have an older one, but the new design is actually better because the lid comes off. You can stick it in the dishwasher, and I can't show you because this still has liquid in it, but the little basket in here also comes out.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier to clean, and I rinse it out after every
Every use.
batch of tea, but I don't wash it every time because I don't feel like I need to put soap on it every time. But I do run it through the dishwasher at least once or twice a month. But you know, if you're more particular, you can do it every day if you want to. But
That's just
and then the French press, I don't sell these either. This is just one of Mom's French presses, and they come in all shapes and sizes. And this is actually Bodum brand. But you can find these everywhere. They're in grocery stores. They're on Amazon. And they make larger ones.
Yeah,
too.
and I do have one in stock. So
But
All
yeah,
right.
I don't sell those.
here are the spinach cinnamon twists. That made a nice big batch.
Yeah, that's a nice batch.
There they are. Oh, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
All right, Pop, if you're going to do that. Oh, all right. What I was going to do was show you how they look. There, just
On
wonderful.
the inside.
Yeah. Okay?
Did you get one?
you didn't hold it up very long.
You didn't hold it up? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There you go. So you can see how they're flaky,
Yeah.
layered. Beautiful. Yeah, offer to
All right.
over here.
Shall we
Okay.
finish up with the cheese twist?
Yes. So she's going to do cheese twists, and then we'll come back and I'll brew larger quantities of iced tea.
Okay. Now this is super easy and going to be super quick because I've already rolled it out. I've already spread the butter on here. The process is the same. And I'm using the more finely grated cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar. You can use any kind of cheese you want. This is just what I happen to have. And you can put in as much as you want. I didn't measure this. Again, it's really kind of by looks. The only difference that I'm going to make with this is when I fold over the twists, I am going to press down on the cheese because I think as I go through the twisting process, I think some of that cheese might fall out. So that's the only change I would make. And these are a great, quick and easy munchie or hors d'oeuvre. You know, if you have guests over, maybe just as they're waiting for you to finish preparing dinner, they can just munch on, and you know, it's not real filling. Just a couple of cheese twists. You can also flavor it any way you want to. If you want, you know, I thought about you could add garlic salt or whatever. I am going to put some seasoning on this. And this is kind of an all-purpose seasoning. It's magic salt-free seasoning. And I use it on meat, fish, vegetables, and what have you. So, and another thing you could add, and I didn't do this purposefully tonight because of the kiddos, but you could actually add a little bit of cayenne pepper to the cheese and give it a zest, a little bit of a zest. But this seasoning does not have red pepper in it, but it's going to give it a nice flavor.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Could you just fold, at this point, fold it over in half and then do your cutting?
I would say no, because then all the cheese would fall to one side.
I know.
Yep. And that was your question?
That was my question.
Okay. All right. That was a fair question.
I do have them every once in a while.
You do. No, I think that was a very good question. I wanted to say that while I was listening to Jen, I was also scrolling through, and there are a lot of you there tonight and a lot of comments, and thank you very much. I saw some of our good friends. I saw Kathy from Warrenton, and I saw Angela, and so many of our regulars. Lynn, I don't want to slight anybody, but there were a lot of good comments.
Excellent. We have questions.
Okay.
Do other cheeses work well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, any cheese.
Yeah, pick out your, I mean, you could even do these with Italian flavoring, with mozzarella, and do some Italian flavoring with it. You could use
Cream cheese
you could use cream cheese
instead of the butter.
Well, yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. And then someone asked if we would post the recipes on the page.
Yes, we can do that. The recipe for these
For
two?
the cheese twist
Yeah.
and the cinnamon twist.
We can do that. But we haven't taken pictures, have we?
Well, there's video.
There is video. But let me do one real quick.
I see you.
Do one real quick of the cheese in the assembly process. Okay? So we'll have it when I do post. All right, so as I said, I'm going to press down on that so that when we do the twisting, it's the ingredients aren't going to fall out. Okay. I can smell that seasoning. And I think, you know, if you were doing the, for instance, the Italian, you could then dip them in marinara sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yep.
You could dip these in salsa.
Yep.
If you did maybe a mix of Monterey Jack.
Yep.
What
Taco
is-
seasoning.
Taco seasoning, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sky's the
The
limit.
sky's the limit on these, really.
Queso.
Queso, yes.
Guacamole.
Guacamole. So this is like, you know,
These would be great as a starter.
they would be.
Super easy.
You know what else? You could have these to go with soup
Yep.
as a starter.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Which, you know, in the South, it's very popular to, what do they call them? The cheese...
Cheese straws.
cheese straws. These are not cheese straws, but you could, that's what they do. They'll serve the cheese straws with soup or chicken salad. That's real popular in the South. That one's falling apart a little bit. Get the twist action. I love how the cheese is really showing through.
There's a question about whether or not you've made any of the tea scarves that you showed
I
last
have
time.
not, and I knew somebody was going to ask, just simply because I haven't had time yet. However, I have been collecting fabric, and so I think probably I'll start making some maybe next week, or not next week, week after next, or and so is week after next July? No.
No.
So yeah, I would say week after
Next
next.
couple weeks.
Yeah, and but I do want to tell you that I've got a lot of things coming up because I promised you too. I think I mentioned this on the Facebook page that I also want to do Christmas in July, and so if I do something, I may do Christmas first with those aprons. Might be super ambitious. And then I also want to do something fall, like focus on fall, kind of give a jump start to fall. And I may do that week after next on the Facebook page. So be looking for that. I'll give you plenty of notice, but I've kind of been stashing away some lovelies to show you. I was showing Jen tonight. She already grabbed something.
I did. I did.
But
So I have a question.
okay.
Could you put bacon bits inside?
Of
Yes.
Of course.
See, there's so many ideas.
Absolutely.
We could patent these. We should patent them.
The savory twists.
The savory twists.
If you make them bigger, you can even do like a like ground beef. But that would be more like a meal.
Yeah.
These are snack.
Yeah, these are snacks. And
Well, I'm
these
just thinking, you know,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the
No,
bacon.
bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're really intended to be like an afterthought.
Yeah, like a little snacky
Just
snack.
a little snicky snack so that you don't waste all that
Dough.
pastry dough. But, okay. So there we are. And we'll put these in the oven for 12 minutes at 400.
Okay. So while those are baking and Dad's trying to pick up pastry dough, so you spilled some.
oh well.
Oh well. Okay, so now we're moving into I'm going to show you how to do. So I showed you individual glasses of tea, just for you. But really, you want to know how to do a good pitcher of tea, and so I'm going to show you how to do a couple pitchers of tea. I'm going to show you how I make iced tea. And Mom and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, and we realized we do it the exact same way. So I use, you use whatever tools you have, but I use a basic Pyrex 4-cup measure because it's going to hold a quart of water, and that's how much tea concentrate, I call it concentrate, I want to make, because that's what's going to fit in the typical pitcher. Some pitchers are much larger, but we're gonna do a typical pitcher. We're using these two. So I'm gonna do a black tea. So I was supposed to show a black tea with the individual, and I forgot what I was doing, and so I actually am gonna do it now. So here's how I do it. So I use the tea sacks number 3, and I sell these in the shop, and this is the size. I can get a tea sack 4, and my vendor actually, like, this says for cups and mugs. If I was doing a larger quantity, I would probably go up to the 4, but I've never needed to go beyond the 3 for the amount of tea that I make. So I don't have the 4, but if there were enough of you that said, yeah, I want the 4, the size 4, which is the next size up, then I'll get some. But I think the 3 will work, and you can use 1 or 2 depending on the quantity. But for me, one of these will work for 32 ounces of tea. And so that's this. So this is the tea sack, and I've shown these before, but it opens at the top, and I usually stick my fingers down in it to open it wider so that it will accommodate my spoon and the tea, so I'm not spilling. So I open that. So then I'm using the perfect pot of teaspoon, which you can see is pretty big. And on here it says 3 to 4 cups. And remember, when this is talking about 3 to 4 cups, it's talking about a 5 to 6 ounce teacup. And so that's what you need to factor when you're using this. And so for 32 ounces of brewed tea, I'm going to use 2 of these. Right? That's what?
Yes.
2 of these. So I'm going to brew iced peach, which is the black tea, and I'll hold it up for you. I showed you this one before. Iced peach, it's black tea. It's got peach. It's got, I'm sad I didn't print the label. It's got good stuff. It smells really good, and it's delicious iced. So we're doing two of the pot spoons, and so I usually heap it, but in this case I'm going to level it. And so I'll show you my little tip. I put the spoon in the pocket, and then I turn it toward the long end, and I let the tea fall into the pocket. And then I get my second spoon. Do this without spilling it. Nope. There we go. Now I got it. Stick the spoon in. I lost a little bit. Turn it to release the tea, and then I pull my spoon out. So now I've got my tea sack full of the 2 pot of teaspoons. And then I stick this in here, and I sell cute little clips, and I forgot to bring mine. But I just fold it up, and I just watch it while I'm pouring the tea over. I typically, if I don't use my clip, I keep the open end toward the glass, and I fold that over the side. And that will keep it from coming open. And then I'm going to pour, here you go. Thank you. Here's the little tea clip, and I sell these. They come in all different colors. So I'm going to clip this closed like that, and it's going to keep the tea from coming out, and then I just drape that over the side. And then I'm pouring the water. I pour it directly onto the tea sack. I want to shock the tea. Going back to the beginning, we're shocking that tea with the hot water. This is black tea, and so I am using boiling water. And I am pouring until I hit the 32 ounce mark. And that's basically the whole pot. So that kettle was empty. And I'm going to let this steep for 3 minutes. Perfect. You don't let it steep any longer just because you're making iced tea or because you're making a large quantity. Length of time is still the same no matter how much tea you're brewing. It's always going to be 3 minutes on black tea. Otherwise it gets bitter. And so we're going to let that steep. And then I have to wait. I pre-filled, this is summer berries, which is summer berries right here. This is a green rooibos tea that's got dried fruits of various kinds, freeze-dried berries, just regular dried, like dehydrated berries. Okay, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries. I think some raspberries in there too. Anyway, it's delicious. Oh, this has currants, elderberries. It's got some dried apple, papaya. It's delicious. And that's these are all melting now. The iced tubes, that's what this is. The iced tubes, my mom made this from summer berries. That's what this is. So I'm going to brew this as well after the black is done. And then I'm going to pour it into this pitcher. It's fine to go into this pitcher, right?
Yes.
Hot? Okay.
Yep.
And then I wanted to show you the other tool that I'm going to use, and I sell these. It's the tea bag squeezer. This is indispensable when you're using these tea sacks so that you can squeeze every drop out of those tea sacks. I have one of these in my kitchen. My mom has one of these in her kitchen. And I do sell these in the shop. And I also sell, so here's the perfect cup, the perfect pot of teaspoon that I also sell in the shop. And of course the tea sacks. So when that tea is done steeping, we've got 45 seconds. I'm going to squeeze the heck out of it, that tea sack, and then I'm going to pour it into this pitcher, and we let it cool to room temperature because this is black tea. Black tea, for sure, you want to let cool to room temperature before you put it in the fridge. But you can put ice in it. You can put ice in it when it's still hot. The ice is going to melt, but don't put it in the fridge until it's cooled. Mom and I were talking about this earlier. We think that rooibos and herbals, because they don't have the tannins that tea plant has, you can put those in the fridge once they've steeped. While they're still hot, you can put those in the fridge, but the black tea, green tea for sure, don't put those directly in the fridge. So, hey Pop, can you put the camera down? So I'm squeezing out the tea because the timer went off, and it's kind of hard. These tea squeezers are tight, so it's sometimes hard to get it around the tea sack without ripping it. Yeah, you can see I ripped it, so I'm going to be really careful. I think I got out what I could. So you can see that's a pretty dark color. So that doesn't look like a lot of tea, but this is a concentrate. It's pretty dark, and so the point is ice is going in here that's going to dilute it down, and it won't be quite that dark. If you like your iced tea strong like this, then serve it like this. You'll need to make double to fill up the pitcher. So that's the black tea. And typically to this, I add 8 ounces of cold water or the equivalent in ice, so that you're getting 40 ounces total of tea. That's my formula, but you play around with what works for you. But that's how I do my tea. I'm usually working in the 40 ounce range. So I am going to get 8 ounces of cold water, and I'm going to put that in there so that you can see the color change. Okay, so 8 ounces, cold water. And it doesn't change it that much, as you can see. But that's 40 ounces of a beautiful iced peach black tea. So let me get the kettle. Okay. So the next one is going to be the summer berries, and unfortunately I wasn't smart and I didn't turn on the kettle. So we'll have to wait a minute for that. But this is a rooibos, and so like I was saying, Mom and I are pretty sure, because the rooibos and the herbals don't have the tannins, you can put this in the fridge right after you brew it. I would still let it cool on the counter, mostly because you don't want to put a really hot object in your fridge. I don't like to put a boiling hot anything in my fridge right away. Like, I let soups cool a little bit before I put them in, casseroles cool, because I don't want that shock of a really hot item going into my very cold fridge. So, do we have any questions while we're waiting? No questions? We got a stretching.
The cheese twister out.
Oh, well, there you go. Show those.
There they are. I'll plate them up here in a second. These spread out a little bit.
Is the timer? Yeah, they can come off.
And then we feast.
Should call up the boy. I'm gonna rinse this. I'm gonna let them sit. Oops. Oh, simple syrup.
Yes. Okay.
I knew there was
Want me to-
something.
yeah.
Okay, so this is simple syrup, and it doesn't look like much.
It's just sugar water.
sugar water. And so, how much?
Well, again, let's explain how to make it first,
Yeah, go
okay? It is super easy. It is literally just sugar water. You take one part of water, 1 part of sugar. So I made 1 cup of water and 1 cup of sugar, put into a saucepan. I put the water in first and then the sugar, stirred it around, and then turned the heat on to about medium, and just didn't stir constantly, just kind of left it. Basically what you want is the sugar to dissolve, and you don't want it to come to a boil. You just want it to get hot so that the sugar dissolves. So really just stirring it, you're going to be able to see at what point it looks like this, where it's totally clear and the sugar is all dissolved into the water, and that's it. As far as how much to put into your tea, that's going to be a matter of taste. If you're doing just a glass of tea, you may want to add just like a tablespoon, but that may be too much. It's really up to you how much you want to do. But if you're doing tea for a group that loves sweet tea, then you can go ahead and make the whole pitcher of tea with the simple syrup and go ahead and have your pitcher of sweet tea. Sometimes people will do the sweet tea and the unsweet tea.
So you're saying add that whole thing to
No,
that? Oh,
no,
yeah,
I'm not.
That's why
What I'm saying is you need to taste it to see how much to add to that. It's really a matter of
40
taste.
ounces.
Yeah, I
How
can't.
much would
I
you-
can't even tell you how much, because people have a different taste. I mean, I would probably start with maybe 1/4 of a cup for that and just see how it tastes, and
All right.
then
so
add
let's-
a little more.
Let's try that then. About like that?
Yeah, and stir it, and then see how you like it. If it needs more, then add more. Now, obviously, this is still hot.
Yeah, that's hot.
So you're going to have to add some ice to it eventually. So that's going to dilute the sweetener down to it too.
Yeah.
So it's really a matter of taste. But that's how you make sweet tea.
Yep. Okay. And on the simple syrup, if you Google simple syrup or go on YouTube and search for simple syrup, there are videos out there of cooks, chefs who will show you how to make simple syrup if you're nervous about how to navigate that on the stove.
I think the name says everything. It's
Simple.
syrup.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
very simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you drinking Granny Green Apple? And
He likes it.
I like it too.
Yeah.
It's my favorite right now. My favorite changes daily.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm steeping summer berries here, and like I said, it's a rooibos, and I don't know how much time we have left on it, about a minute. And it's interestingly a little more amber than the black tea. The iced peach tea actually ends up, well, I've got that.
Oh.
Actually ends up as a red, and I think that's because it's got hibiscus in it. and the hibiscus makes everything red when it's in a tea. This is actually a green rooibos. Now, rooibos is usually the red, like most people think it associated with the red bush, but green rooibos, it's the same bush, but it's the raw needles from that bush. And so they're not, I can't even remember the process that makes it red. I like green rooibos. I think it has a fresher, not as strong flavor. Okay. Let me take that out of here. So I'm going to squeeze this as well. Get out as much of the water as I can. Now remember, this one has the dried berries and the freeze-dried berries.
I find when I use that, if I start from the top
I did.
and work down, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Start from the top and work down, it fits on the bag better.
Yeah. But I still, I don't know if you can see, I kind of have to manually like widen it myself to get it over. It's easier when the tea sack is smaller. It's a little bit of a challenge on the larger one. So, okay, so that's going into this pitcher. Question? Pour this without spilling it. And there is your 32 ounces of tea. And then, like I did with the other, I'm going to get an additional 8 ounces of cold water. To top that off. And now we have a 40-ounce pitcher of summer berries. Ready to go. Okay. Do I dry my own flowers and fruit to blend with the teas? I do not. Because I don't have the time or the space to do that, or the equipment. I don't have a dehydrator, and I don't need to, because I have vendors who supply fantastic dried fruits and flowers in bulk. And so I buy from those vendors, and they're good quality, but yeah, I don't have I have a job. I have a job, and I just don't have the time to. That's not my specialty.
No, and I think you said it. You know, you really need a facility and all the right equipment and everything
and
to do that.
No, I do this out of my house.
Yeah.
And I have a room in my house where I do the tea business. And if you're in the group, then you saw that a couple weeks ago I did a major overhaul of the furniture in my tea office to accommodate storage and improve packaging capability. I put an industrial table in there where I had a folding table, and I added some more shelves, bookshelves for storing, more storage bins for storing of the tea. I know. Dad's like, wrap it up, man.
No. He was answering my question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I'm a small business, and I can only do what I can do, and this is my side hustle. I do have a full-time job. I work for the government, and until I retire, this is a side hustle, and so I blend tea.
Yep.
That's all I do.
Wonderful components.
Yeah, and I do have great vendors who supply amazing components, be they pre-blended teas that I then create additional blended teas, or the fruit and the flowers that get added. And I am looking to create some new blends. I was telling my mom I'm working on, if you're in the group you know this, I'm working on some Lord of the Rings fandom teas, Chronicles of Narnia fandom teas, Hallmark Christmas movie fandom teas. Those are coming for the holidays. And then I'm working on some other new holiday blends for this fall and winter, and yeah. Okay, I think that's it.
All right. Well,
So-
let's show off the goodies to go with the
Yep.
iced tea.
If you, yeah, I'll move this. So if you have any other questions, feel free to post them, or shoot us a message anytime. You can send a message through Facebook Messenger through the page, and we will get that. Yeah.
You want to
she's
show
almost-
off, show off
break
those?
one
Yeah.
open. There you go. You can.
I took them off of the pan a little sooner than I normally would, so they're a little bit soft
Yeah,
still. I
these
would
are
leave them
a
on the pan, but
Yeah.
but they're all done,
They look
freshly
delish.
baked. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't show them the.
Oh, we have one more.
We
goodie.
have one more goodie. So my mom, we'll finish up with this. So mom talked about using leftover tea to make ice cubes, and I do recommend that. That's a great way to reduce diluting your tea down, is to use leftover tea. But also, you can make popsicles with tea, and we should have practiced this before.
That's okay.
So this is iced peach, which is this. All right, this may not work.
Run it under a little hot water.
Yeah, she's gonna run the others on it. Anyway, I've had these little popsicle makers for a while, and we should have taken these out. And so we made some popsicles. Warm it up. She's getting it. She's getting the other one. The other one is Butterfly Garden, which that Butterfly Garden came out way more blue than this Butterfly Garden, so that's weird, but there must not have been as much lemon in what I brewed tonight.
Yeah, this is
There you
the
go.
Butterfly Garden.
Oh, this is Butterfly Garden?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there you go, Butterfly Garden.
And the other one is the
And the other one is the Ice
Ice
Peach,
Peach. Right.
which is a darker, you can
yeah.
tell that it's a darker color. This
And-
looks amazing.
And we did sweeten them
Yeah, so we did sweeten these teas before we put them in the popsicle
so that they would
sticks.
taste like a popsicle.
Right. Would you like?
And, again, you can be creative with your popsicles because this is something you could add fruit to if you
Yep.
wanted to.
Yep.
Crushed fruit,
Yeah.
a few fruit puree, or even, Olivia and I have been having fruit smoothies this week and
Oh, yeah.
having our tea added to the fruit smoothie. You could even do a fruit smoothie popsicle
Mm-hmm.
with tea.
Nope, this isn't coming out. Oh. Nope,
Here, I'll
not
try
getting
this.
it. Anyway, popsicles for the summer. How is it?
It tastes just like the tea.
Awesome. Yay. So, anyway, so that's iced tea. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out anytime in the group or on the page. And I don't want this melting all over. Yeah, I think that covers it. So don't forget the giveaway. I knew there was something. The summer sampler is a giveaway. Summer faves is the key phrase in the comments. And so if you missed that earlier, now's your chance. Put in the comments summer faves, and I will draw names tomorrow. I'm going to try to do it as early as possible because I am going out of town Monday morning, and I'm going to be gone. Oh, there we go. This is the iced peach, which is darker than the...
And I thought that these would be great for those who are trying to lose weight during the summertime. This is a great snack idea.
Yeah, because it's not super sweet.
Right. And no calories, basically.
Depending on the sweetener that you use
Right.
in here. Do you want that? No? Okay, well, I don't know where to put it. Anyway, so I was saying I'm going to try to draw for the giveaway as early as I can on Sunday so that I can get it out in the mail. On Monday, my husband is a prince, and he's going to take whatever packages I have to the UPS on Monday, because I will be on a plane flying south. But if you place an order between now and Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, it will get shipped on Monday. If you place an order after 6 p.m. on Sunday, I will process it for shipping beginning on Thursday. Might not go out in the mail on Friday, it might be Saturday, but I'll start processing orders sometime on Thursday. And so I'm hoping whoever wins the giveaway, I'll be able to get that out to you on Monday. And
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Don't forget, next month, July 17th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we're
Yeah.
going to talk about children's tea and
Manners and etiquette and
choosing a tea for kids.
choosing tea. And we'll have, I don't know that we'll have an array of snacks, but we'll give you some tea goodies, but we'll have some ideas for you.
Yeah, some pointers.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll call it a wrap. Thank you very much
Thank
for joining
you.
us.
Yeah.
And thanks, Olivia.
Yes, thanks, Olivia.
Thanks, Dad. And we'll see you guys
In a month.
in a month.
All right.
All right.
Take care. Happy 4th. Yes.
Yes,
Happy
we-
4th
yeah, we'll
and
see
happy
you after
Flag
that.
Day on Monday.
Yeah.
Bye.
If you're in the United States.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.